When you're a hopeless romantic, I feel like hopeless romantics don't get enough love anymore. You know what I'm saying? I feel like nowadays it's a little bit corny or too cheesy, or, people aren't as like into the whole romance idea anymore. Like it feels like it's dwindling down. But that's why Valentine's Day is perfect for this type of stuff. You know what I mean? This is the perfect time to be corny or to be cheesy or to maybe overdo love a little bit. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with showing love or being committed or expressing you love somebody. It's just kind of the way you express it. I don't know. I don't know when that shift was for people where it was like, they don't like romance as much. Do you know what I mean? Like there was some sort of like a cool shift in the world where people were like, I don't want them to be like too romantic, or I don't want them to be like too over loving or over cheesy with it. You know what I mean? You kind of have to subvert expectations for like liking somebody or wanting to express that you have feelings for somebody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when that whole thing happened, but this is your time to shine, people. Valentine's Day is the perfect place for you. It's the time for you to to essentially do the most romantic thing that you can possibly think of and make it a tradition. Valentine's Day comes every year. This is your time to really get it going, and it could be in subtle ways, it can be in big ways, but just do it your own way. Me in particularly, I feel like I go a little, I'm not going to say I overdo it. I mean, it all depends on like certain factors, but like I try to go just a little bit extra, right? Like take what I usually do, you know what I mean? There's a romance level, and then just go a little bit above it. Go that little extra mile for it, especially for Valentine's Day. And then yes, be a little, what's it called? Kind of be like a little too lovey-dovey, you know what I'm saying? Like be a little on that side of it. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think that you should express obviously you should know who you're trying to love, or, you know what I mean? You're in a relationship with, but if you know that person, you'll understand that like what they're kind of, I guess, the way that they like to be treated, so you'll be able to figure out qualities of like, hey, let's just stay in and be comfortable and have a night in, but if you're like, no, I know she would like to go out and go dancing and to go have like a good time outside with maybe like some of her friends or whatever, then let's go do that. Or maybe you're like, let's go out to dinner and do this, or you want to do something exciting. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to go, let's go dirt biking. You know what I mean? Let's go, or you're like, let's go rent a boat and sail out onto the sea or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Kind of figure out your own vibe together. I don't know. Everybody's different. Of course, everybody's different, but you get what I'm saying. I feel like Valentine's Day is whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be too much. It doesn't have to be too little. It can be just the right amount of love. That's all we're asking for. That's all it really is just making a day for loving somebody, showing them that you love them, showing that you care for them in the smallest ways, in the biggest ways, and all the ways that matter to you and to them. It's just about really being the best that you have to offer, And I think that's really sweet. It's very kind. It's also very commercialized, you know what I mean? They're obviously trying to sell candy and merchandise and like trying to get you to buy stuff that you wouldn't normally buy, right? And they make it, then they exploit your love. This is the thing that people always get across, is that like Valentine's Day isn't real. You can just love whoever you want any day of the week, right? It doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day, but they sell you this idea. So They're like, "Oh, you have to buy your girlfriend jewelry. You have to buy your boyfriend, shoes, or you have to get them to like the nice clothes or this other stuff so that way you'll love them." But it's like that's just simply not true. But I can kind of understand people's point with that. If you can't understand people's point with it, then I feel like maybe you're missing a bit of the plot. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, that does make sense that these companies are trying to exploit my love for my partner because they're trying to sell me jewelry. They want me to buy it so that way I can impress my significant other. I have to buy things for their love. And that's not necessarily true for everybody. I mean, it's not necessarily true that you have to do that, but it is one aspect of showing love. And I feel like I'm okay with this kind of like capitalism, holiday scheme. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like it. And that way it feels like at least on the calendar specifically, it tells you that like this is a day designated for love. I don't know what harm that does. You can either participate in it, you cannot, but it's right there, it's at the beginning of the year. And I think that's really nice. Let me see. Being somebody who I want to say is like constantly, I wouldn't say I'm constantly looking at things like from like a romantic perspective, but I never stop. I don't know what's the right word. I never like close myself off to romance. You know what I mean? I always kind of think somewhere in the back of your head, you're in my mind, I guess. You always kind of think of like, oh, that would be really like a sweet, like kind of like date idea. You know what I mean? Like always in the back of my head, or like I have like ideas about like, oh, how can this would be a cute place to take a girl on a date, or to hang out with somebody over here and to spend time together, Like I think about that sometimes when I look at the sunset, and I'll be like, oh man, it would be so perfect if like I got like some chairs and we could just like sit back and relax, and we could like enjoy the sunset together, and then we could like make a little bonfire and make like some s'mores or whatnot, and then we could kind of just like look up at the stars, at the night sky, and kind of talk about like life, you know what I mean? Just kind of having a good time and talking about whatever we think, I think that would be like, stuff like that in the back of my head and in the back of my mind, kind of thinking about like, oh, this would be really sweet or very romantic or a nice little date night idea. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like the hopeless romantic thing to do, is to always think about like, oh, this would be a great thing. What else is there? I mean, I feel like I definitely feel that there is one thing that is like directly associated or should be with Valentine's Day, and it's food. Food is directly, I mean, if you look at all of the biggest events in the world, food is directly connected to it. So I feel like good food has to be like a must, or yes, good food has to be a must for Valentine's Day, whether it's like a big dinner or you're cooking for yourself. Like that's like a thing that you can do for certain to make the day special, is make a special meal, a special dessert, right? Like that's why they get you to buy chocolates, because it's a sweet treat and almost everybody likes them. I'm not going to say everybody likes them, but almost everybody likes them and enjoys them. So, it kind of helps stuff out a little bit. But anyways, I don't know if I've already talked about this. I feel like I have, but there's kind of like this ongoing, I don't know, this group consensus, or like everybody's able to like sort of agree that elementary school Valentine's Day used to be so much more fun because there was no pressure for like bigger than life romance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't about, everybody was treated equally. You know, the girls got a Valentine's Day card, and the boys got Valentine's Day cards. Like, everybody got like a Valentine's Day card with like a lollipop or whatever, or like a candy or something, and everybody got treated like they were special. You know what I mean? Well, it wasn't like direct like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So it used to be just like everybody got a little piece of love, you know? It wasn't this managed thing where it was supposed to be like like your love wasn't directly focused towards one person for one specific thing, right? It wasn't about trying to be boyfriend, girlfriend or anything like that. It was just about, hey, you're in the class and I care about you. Here, it's Valentine's Day. Have a card and a lollipop, and it's from me to you, and everybody would get like something. And I thought that was really cute. It still is really cute when you think about it back then. And now we've really overcomplicated Valentine's Day, and we've made it so much more. We've made it mean so much more because, I don't know, as we get older, we complicate things. We don't make it nice anymore. We make it so much more nastier and uglier, and it shouldn't be. It should be kind of sweet. But anyways, I also think you should never feel embarrassed about showing love and appreciation for another person. You should always feel, I don't know what's the right word. You should feel proud that you have this emotion, that you have this feeling, that you have this burst of emotion and energy to tell somebody or to love someone, right? You should always feel good that you have this feeling, and it should never feel forced or like, I'm no good at it. It's like, no, you don't have to be good at love. You just have to show and make other people feel appreciated and cared for. It doesn't have to be this overcomplicated life thing. It just has to be, oh yeah, this is somebody I care about, and this is how I'm going to show it. You don't have to be over the top. You don't have to be too crazy or lovey-dovey with it. You just have to be you, and that's enough. That's definitely enough. I can definitely say that I've been a little too over the top with it, but, you know, I cringe about it just the same as anybody else would, and then I move on. You know what I'm saying? You get over it, and you realize that, like, it has to be, the best kind of love is reciprocated love, where you find somebody that just matches your energy and just makes you feel like, man, it feels good to love somebody and for them to love you back, you know? So never take that for granted, and always show love to the people who love you. So happy Valentine's Day, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.